today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you the square that I crocheted from the Modern Guide to Granny Squares, as well as give you an update of where I'm at with the planning of my very first Granny Square cardigan. Hey, it's Tammy, Crafty Mompreneur. If you're new, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. It's another episode of Granny Square Sunday where I share anything that I've done related to Granny Squares with you on Sundays. We're currently working our way through a Modern Guide to Granny Squares. I'm also attempting my very first Granny Square cardigan. If you caught my video on Friday, you can watch that video here. You know that I have been scouring the internet looking for the perfect Granny Square cardigan. So one of the things we're going to do today is we're going to lay out the squares that I already have done and kind of get an idea of what we're working with. So without further ado, we're going to get right to the video. So today we have a change of scenery, and it's simply because my daughter is home from college and she's occupying her room right now, so I can't record while she's in there, obviously. Still hoping to get this video recorded and edited and posted on Sunday, but when your daughter is home from college and she's come down with strep throat, family definitely takes priority here, and so I've spent the morning playing mom and not YouTuber, and so if this video comes out late on Sunday, that is why. So last week, the square that we picked from this book, this was the square I picked last week to do. And I didn't think it was going to be too hard, but it turned out to be a little bit more challenging than I thought it was going to be. I prefer to read the diagrams more than the text. I don't know what it is, but the written pattern sometimes confuses me. And I guess maybe because when I first was learning how to do Granny Squares, this card deck, it has diagrams. And so I crocheted all 50 of these cards using mostly a diagram. And so that's just how I'm used to doing Granny Squares. And so sometimes when I'm reading these patterns and I'm like, do I stay in this stitch? Do I go to the next stitch? What is going on? So I'm not that good right now at reading patterns. And so these more advanced type of squares tend to confuse me a little bit. So this one is a skill level 3. Feel this right there. It did challenge me. Once I got past the hard part, it kind of goes funny. That's funny. Then I pretty much figured out what I was doing. And here is the square. It definitely needs to be blocked. I went with a red heart in the middle, and then the light pink trim. So here's the comparison. I think I did pretty good. I mean, it looks like it's supposed to look. I kind of feel like mine's a little bit of an angle, kind of, maybe. I don't know. But it is pretty cool. I like it. I think the part that challenged me the most was reading the pattern. So I mean, I think with each week that I do a Granny Square that challenges me, I'm getting better. Okay, so with the completion of this one, I now have 4 in this color scheme. So I have these 3, and now I have a 4th to kind of go with this color scheme. So I think what I'm going to do is just keep building upon this color scheme until I figure out what to do with these. And then I think I have 2 other color schemes. I don't have them with me, but you can check the previous videos in this series to see which other Granny Squares I've created with this book. Okay, now it's time to decide what square I'm going to crochet from this book for next week. And I think I want to change it up a little bit and go with a new color scheme and pick something that's just not related to anything else. And so the square I'm going to pick is this cute kitten. And we'll see how that one goes. It is a skill level 1, which I like skill level 1s. And we'll see how I do on this one. It looks pretty straightforward. We'll see if it actually looks like a kitten. And I'm not sure what color scheme I'm going to pick yet. So we'll save that for a surprise for next Sunday. The other thing that I worked on this week related to Granny Squares was my Granny Square cardigan. Now, you guys know that I have never crocheted a Granny Square cardigan, or any wearable for that matter. I've never crocheted anything to wear. No, I haven't. I just had to think back. have I? I'm like, no. I have been an amigurumi, like crochet plushies kind of crochet artist, and I've only made a couple of blankets. I've made a pillow now. What else have I made that was not a plushie? Oh, cozies, like coffee cozies. I've made some of those. Most everything that I've done to date is a plushie, like a stuffed animal or something along those lines. So to make a granny square cardigan, it's a big undertaking for me. So I compiled, like I said earlier, I compiled all of like 10 different granny square cardigans, and I was really trying to envision what I wanted this cardigan to look like when it was done. And so what I did is I think I have an idea, and the cardigan that I think I want to model my cardigan the most after is the Uma cardigan. I think for me, it might be easier to just do a full sleeve of just a solid color and just use whatever stitch, the granny square stitch or like whatever stitch is on this Uma cardigan, just because I think it might be easier and I won't have to make as many granny squares. So I could finish the cardigan sooner. So I'm gonna just lay out kind of the front or back just with whatever squares that I have. But first, let me show you the additional squares that I crocheted from the Granny Square card deck this week to go on my cardigan. I did 5 additional squares. So with these 5 squares and the square I did this week brings my total squares to, which isn't bad. I mean, I feel like, I think I have a goal to make 140 squares for the year, but I have to tell you, these little squares go so much faster. So I was able to get 5 of them done pretty quickly. If you remember in my first series, when I crocheted all 50 cards from this card deck, I tried to model the color scheme like the card. But this time I actually, since I'm pulling just from the Granny Square like cardigan colors, I had my daughter pick the colors for each of the squares. So that's how I came up with the color combination for each of these squares. Is I just gave the skeins of yarn to my daughter and I said, what order should I crochet these in? And so it was my oldest daughter that helped me come up with these. Here is my first one. Again, this one's just like, I can crochet these pretty fast now. That's my second one. Then we have, this one turned out pretty cool. And then this one. And the last one I did was this one. Oops. Let's do it that way. So yeah, 5 more squares for my cardigan, and now I'm gonna just roughly lay it out and see if I decide not to do sleeves in granny squares, how many more I might need. So let's go ahead and do that together. All right, so there's 5 from this week, and then I'm gonna get out the rest of these squares and just start laying them out. So this is a 5 by 5 panel. If I did no sleeves, then I would need to do, I think the front panel would be like that, right? So I'm thinking I probably need 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, 14, 20 more. Okay, this is not like the final layout or anything. I'm just kind of trying to get an idea of what it's going to look like and how many squares I need. So I've pulled up my inspiration one that I will probably be purchasing the pattern for, I think. But this is the Oma cardigan on Ravelry. And it looks like from the picture that I like, it is 4 granny squares down. That would be the front up there. And then this is the back. And it looks like 4 by 2 for the front panels. And then the back panel is 5 by probably 4 as well. So I really only need 1, 2, 3, 4, 9 more squares. So I'm gonna push myself and see if I can get 9 more of these done this week, and then be able to start constructing the cardigan within the next like couple weeks, and have a goal to maybe finish it by the end of March. I think that might be doable. So that is the plan right now. And I'll worry about like actual placement of colors and things like that once we get all of the squares done. So that is the update on my granny square cardigan. So that's all I have for you today for Granny Square Sunday. Probably a little bit shorter video than usual, but in any case, I did want to share with you the things that I had worked on for Granny Square Sunday this week. The plan then for next week is to just again do 1 square from the Modern Guide to Granny Squares, and then I'm gonna try and crochet a lot of granny squares. No, you know what? I can't. Scratch that whole idea, because I have a market this coming Saturday, and there's no way I'm gonna be able to like crank out a bunch of granny squares when I have market prep to do and a lot of stuff like administrative stuff to do, like make some signs and order some business cards and just other kinds of things that I need to do for that. So I'll just crochet some granny squares, the 1 for sure, and then however many I can get done for the cardigan, and then the week after that I'll focus more on the cardigan. But so that's going to do it for today's video. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe, because on Tuesday, I'm planning to release my all-in-one octo free tutorial here on YouTube. So as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye. This until I figure out what to. Oh, I made some personally. My light went out. What order should I color these? What color? I'm struggling today. It's fine. Everything's fine.